of you to Enterprise Software Packaging session. I'll be talking today about, well, what the enterprise software packaging is, how to define that, what kind of challenges that means for everyday life for both packagers, managers, but all parties also involved into the enterprise application lifecycle management. My name is Marcin Otorowski. I'm a software developer and a team leader of software development at RayNet. Been working for RayNet like already, I think, 6-7 years on that. A couple of figures here. RayNet is from Germany, but I really prefer to say that we are international. We have a few hundred customers from all over the world. And as I was just counting today, there are just 5 guys, our staff at AppManagEvent, and we speak, how many languages natively as mother tongue? 6. So 5 guys, 6 native mother tongue languages. That's, I would say, pretty interesting. So. That will be my agenda for today. Like I said, I'll be talking and making a small introduction to the packaging as an enterprise process, but the most important part would be a live demo, which I'll be doing with our product packaging suite and its components. And I will try to answer questions like how the software solution can help us improve our efficiency, improve being on time, being on budget, and simply produce, well, better results. Some of these things will be presented for the first time, so we are revealing new functionalities on AppManagEvent, so I really do hope that you will really like that part. But first, let's have some fun. I brought a couple of pictures. You may already know them. They were circulating over the internet, but since it's always true for any kind of projects and they are simply funny, I decided to bring them up together. So, do you recall what this picture means? Anyone seen it already? This is a project, a requirements, a package, whatever you want to deliver and what actually was wanted by a customer. Now, if you can think of what could go wrong in the process of software packaging, we'll start with a software evaluation, so how the evaluator understood what the customer required. Things can go even worse after packaging, which brought this one. Clearly, that one has no chance of working, so the package will be rejected, and as a result, with quick fix, it looks like that. So this is how the packaging works without proper understanding of all the parties involved. And speaking of enterprise packaging, we are talking about, well, different challenges like different parties, different departments, and different people. So now let's have a look what is the delivery. What has been documented is this one. So pretty nothing, no one likes the document. What the customer at the end paid for is that one. And what the customer actually can do with the project is this one. So that's the actual use of the project. Well, this was just a bit of fun, but actually if you think of that, all of these challenges that these pictures are telling are so much true if we are talking about a software project. So I'm from the software development world, and I can really good understand that. But also for software packaging, and actually all these little steps involved into the packaging. So I just put a couple of topics, couple of issues over there. The list is definitely not comprehensive. It's not complete. You can put from your experience some more stuff over there, and the ordering. Well, we may also argue. But certainly now it looks much better, so if anyone comes from outside and would be, well, seeing that one, hey, what kind of weird guy is that? What is he trying to show? Now this looks more professional, and I will try to actually show today our packaging suite and how this answers all of these points. So we'll try to speak about a separation of concerns, how to work with distributed environments, so different people in different potentially geographic locations, how they can communicate efficiently, how the documentation may be flowing, how to deliver results on time and have them to deliver to the right people, how to build up the transparency of the process using our tools. A documentation part will be really interesting. I'll show our tool RayEval, and that will involve one nice new feature that we are demoing during AppManagEvent, how to work with different virtual environments from customers. So that will be specifically interesting for freelancers, but also for people building virtual package factories and so on and so on. Working for big projects also involves pretty often the packaging guidelines and customer requirements, which may define how we work. So it can be also different from project A to project B that we are doing our packages for. And final last couple of points are for the quality control and the management. So management dashboard, doesn't bring that much to the production, at least if you talk about how it looks from the packaging point of view. But they are really important that over all of this that we are producing so a technical documentation, a delivered result with quality control, that the manager can also have a look, okay, these guys are doing good, so, or maybe not, I need more resources. And at the end, how to minimize total cost of ownership by using the right solution in the right amount on the right places. So that will be a list of challenges I would try to answer. Here is the answer that RayNet is suggesting. So this is a concept we've been using for years for our products. We are also service provider. We are doing packaging. We are serving package factories all over the world. And I'll be today focusing actually on, well, that part here. So I will create a evaluation or discovery, how it will be called in UK. I will then create packaging based on that, what I evaluate. And finally, depending on how time we have at the end, I will do the quality control. And all of this, I'll try to present on a customer environment. I just brought some virtual machine, which may be representing what the customer is requiring. And all over that, as you can see, is RayFlow. So that would be how you handle all these communication issues. So how do you make sure the documents are at the right place? How do you make sure that what you discuss with the customer during either evaluation of the package or at later stage is available when you are making final UAT or quality control? How the packagers may know that the package has to be tested like that and that, so kind of smoke test before releasing, and to keep all of this communication history, to keep all the statuses, all the files in one central place, which is RayFlow. It can optionally work with cloud, but today I'll be using a rather simplistic option. I have just my RayFlow hosted on my virtual environment. Important point here is that all of this is pretty modular. So while I'm just presenting pretty much all of it that you can see inside, you can start with some smaller parts, build modular, and when you need more, you can build it on time and not necessarily on one place. And the components can be extended or even replaced depending on your need. So that would be pretty much what I'll be showing today. Now we are going to specifically that part I was talking about the, more like packaging-oriented stuff, so taking away the deployment, taking away the discovery and inventory stuff. There is a component for application readiness. I'm not going to show that. There's not enough time, but if you are interested, you can just, pay us a visit in our booth, and we will be happy to answer your questions about that. But actually what I'll be doing is here the software evaluation, and I will create some professional looking documents showing how to configure and how to test my package, and doing this, like I said, on a virtual environment. There will be a big part about RayPack. That's our packaging tool. And here I'll try to emphasize some different ways to automate, some different ways to reuse what you have so that you don't repeat yourself. Really important to save time and at the end money. And finally, there will be part for the quality control using checklist-based approach, and also testing, making smoke tests on the customer environment. So this is, pretty much what I'll be trying to show today. And we can actually start right away. I will just go to my machine. So there is a instance of RayFlow, as you can see. It's just a website. So with just your handy, your manager can always log in and see what's the status of your project, which packages are there. And I'll first try to log in. So logging in, we can actually make it bigger. And that's one of the entry point, and the other one I have on that machine is the desktop client. You will pretty much use, depending on your needs, the desktop client if you need integration with tools and your connectors, because of the way security works in web, and your manager will pretty much be interested into web approach, which if I go back to my virtual machine, looks like that. So pretty much similar, and the choice of entry point is yours. So let's first stick to the management view. Our answer to address the separation of concerns, so different phases, different statuses, how to organize that, is shown over there. So these are the phases. Again, this is just some example we prepared. Different environments may require some different phases, but they pretty much represent a horizontal split over different statuses. So a package may, well, pretty much also travel in some different directions, like we may say we are now evaluating a package which wasn't even supposed to be evaluated, like no sources are there. So you can always travel left or right, but ideally you will always start with order of your package, travel to the very end, and end up on something like deployment. And for us, that interesting part would be certainly over there, so that would be the evaluation, packaging, and quality control, which I'm trying to cover during this session. As you can see on the left side, there are pretty a lot of options here, so RayFlow is really configurable and can serve your need, well, pretty much flexible. You can create your tools, and what's most important, if you have anything that you are using today, it's, well, pretty straightforward to plug it into the existing system. So there is not even a lot of need to rewrite or recompile anything you may already have ready. So if we go to any phase, like let's have a look what we have in package order acceptance. I know it might be not big enough, so I'll make it bigger. Just a moment. So I think it should be better right now, huh? So this is just showing a list of packages I currently have in my package order acceptance phase, and this is just a good view of what's currently up to, where are my resources, who's working on which package, and so on. You can customize the look and feel of that, columns showing SLA, you can configure how the SLA is actually calculated, and have different actions displayed to, well, start working on the package. And I will be trying to make a sample with the first one, Setup Office Stop Enterprise. It's in MSI format, which makes it, well, easier for me. I won't have to make repackaging. I will just create a transform, which is faster and more efficient. If you click on a package, so I think that virtual machine is not capturing my clicks. I can also open this in this instance. So let's try this out. Should work better. So if I press Setup Office Stop Enterprise, that's more like a drill down showing what is up with my package. So where is it, who put which files, which comments, and so on, and a couple of basic details about my package I'm going to do. So at that point, normally it should be pretty much checked whether all sources are there, whether the package is complete, whether it's actually a complete order for that. And as soon as you're ready, and that would be some, I would say, common procedure for each package, you would always first accept this package to you and then change its status. Some of the statuses may trigger the transitions, so if I press ready for evaluation over there, I will travel to the eval phase. So I will do that, and I will, for the time being, skip that compatibility part, which I explained on the first slide, to just make it faster at that point. So if you accept that, the package will be gone from the eval phase and will be shown in POA phase, and will be shown instead in evaluation phase. So this also brings me a good opportunity to show the history tab. And the history tab is showing all actions that were done on the package. So if later on something goes wrong, we may always track all the actions, like who uploaded which file, who did what action, who accepted that, who signed off the delivery, who signed off the quality control, who did packaging, and so on and so on. Everything stays in one place. And if you want to have even more better view on that, you would go to the tracking tool, which shows exactly the same information, but on all packages. So this will show a view like that, and that gives you just an immediate insight of, okay, I see that a couple of packages here are on hold. These are active, was traveling through PO and POA. So that's pretty much the same view you can have for a single package, but shown globally for everything you may have over there. So going back to the eval phase, we'll first accept my Setup Office Stop Enterprise. So I will accept to myself. I'm working as admin, so you can see all views, you have all actions, but you can actually specify different permissions, different groups. So for example, packager may not be able to accept packages that are in POA, or maybe not even see them. So it's all configurable, and I'm just working as admin to have all options visible. Now, while the package is assigned to me, I can also change its status to active. so that it's then shown in the overview that the package is being actively worked on, and later you can use the tracking view to have a look on all of that. And at the end, I will have to do some work on that. So I'm in the eval phase, and like I already announced, I will use RayEval to that. And this brings me to our RayFlow client, the desktop version, which has this integration with the tools. So what I will do, it's actually a similar view to what we were just before. So go to the eval, there is, where is it? I think I have to refresh it. There would be Setup Office Stop Enterprise in my list, but with a small difference, Setup Office Stop Enterprise, with a small difference that for a package you may have one or many tools. And in that case, it's just RayEval, but like I said, it may be a script, a VBS script, PowerShell script that does something with the package, or publisher to SCCM or deployment. So there are really a lot of possibilities over there. And let me show how this works. So by clicking Run in RayEval, this is going to start RayEval. I'm now working in host, so I switched from the virtual machine, and everything is done on this machine. So I think that there are some mapping issues, so let me have a look what this machine did. No, the path seems to be correct. I'll just add this again. Yeah. So yeah, it was set up Office 7. So I had to just log in to have my credentials refreshed. And RayEval right now picked actually all these details, so including version, language, name, and so on from RayFlow. So at least I don't have to type manually. There is a less level of mistakes and so on and so on. It also pulled the correct sources, the type, and the most important view in RayEval is the view of steps. So what is a step? Step would be, well, double-click that file. Go to File menu, press Open Options, Disable Auto Updates. Click Next button, select Radio button, checkbox. So everything you need to properly configure, to properly run, to properly test your package. Now, how is it done? I will first start with the installation. So there are just these tabs over there. You can configure them. So I just took some defaults. And you may press the button here to start the installation on that very machine and start capturing. This works pretty straightforward, so that is the installation, and with a proper mouse button, the actions are captured in the background. So as you can see, it's showing here, click button next, and put a screenshot automatically. The problem is that we are still in the host. That would be a really bad idea if I continue with that installation, because it will make my host dirty. So here's a new addition that we did. And this would be specifically interesting for freelancers and people who are working with different projects or different virtual environments. So what I'm going to do, I will use this button in the bottom right, and this brings me the view of virtual machines which are available on my desktop. So right now, all of them are VMware Workstation, but we also can support Hyper-V and ESXi, and I can take now one of them. And all this process of capturing my setup, installing, configuring, and so on will be actually started on that very machine. So let's have a look. I'll just take the AppManagEvent 2017 final image, press Use Selected, and now what happens is a second machine will start in the background. It is configured to automatically log in, so there are credentials which are provided there, and the machine will start. So I'll also bring the RayEval window to have a look on that. So it first waits when the machine is booted, then the VMware tools must be obviously started to have any interaction, and within just a few seconds it should be ready. So it takes like 7-8 seconds, I think, for VMware tools to start from the booting, and as you can see, it now picked it up and is almost ready to be working. So from now on, I'm in a special mode where all my actions will be executed not locally, but in that virtual machine. So all the prerequisites, all the dependencies, I don't have to care about them if they are in the virtual environment. And as a matter of fact, if I press the play button, which is now there, so what happened previously? The setup started on my host. If I do it right now, it will copy the Setup Office Stop Enterprise to my virtual environment and run it automatically. So it's just the MSI setup. I think it's not that big enough, so it shouldn't take too much, and the setup will be started on that machine once the file copying is ready. So yeah, it's starting. If you start it on host, it will be still in a sandbox mode, so it should not spoil your machine, but still, it's always a good idea to have it running on the virtual environment. So I don't know, it's waiting for something, preparing to install. In any case, I can actually continue right now because that capturing mode of getting these buttons, it's not really limited to my installer window. So if I do that, as you can see, and going back to RayEval, there is a window captured over there which says just simply generic, make sure that the window is in that state. But what I could also do, I can go to RayEval. Oh, it now started. I can press on the next button, so it captures the next in my RayEval instance. I can try to capture the whole window. I can even try to capture some single folders, so over there. And as you can see, all of this is going into my document. So that's a pretty clean cut. We are doing something in a virtual environment. It's getting auto-documented over there. And after that, we can produce a documentation in PDF or Word format with custom logo, custom branding, custom fields, and then have it passed to the packaging team. But actually, you don't have to pass it physically, because what I did now, I started RayEval from RayFlow, our workflow tool. So why don't we create a document out of RayEval right now and send it to RayFlow? Let's try. So first, let's disconnect from the virtual machine. So I'll just say disconnect, and we may say, okay, power it off. We don't need this machine anymore. And instead, so as you can see, the background, the machine is gone. Instead, I will say that I want to export my documentation into RayFlow. So just press export. And it will create, in that case, a PDF document and upload this directly to RayFlow. So next, when our packager logs in, so let's close RayEval project. When our packager logs in, let's make a refresh, he would see that here on the right side, there is now a file. So it has been just uploaded. It's this evaluation documentation from RayEval. We may quickly have a look what's there in that file. It's not really difficult. I just press a couple of steps, and all of them are documented using what I wrote. The descriptions are editable, so if you are not happy with what RayEval did, you can remove them, reorder, type whatever you need. But the good thing is that if you, for example, have an order number or license key, something that you type manually, if you right-click it with RayEval, it will just read the text, put it into text, into a PDF document, and you don't have to type anything manually. So it's really saving a lot of time, saving a lot of potential issues with typos, and so on and so on. So that's a document, and let's say we're happy with that. So again, what I would do would be to change status, and the statuses are a bit different in that phase, but at the end, I want to finish that package. So then it travels to the packaging department. For some complex scenarios, there may be some more packaging types. So if I change the status to finish, it will go to the packaging phase. But as I said, you may also have some subgroups like packaging on-site, packaging off-site, some mixed models, and so on and so on. And it's completely up to you. How do you model your processes? So setup of a step enterprise. Let's make it active. And right now, I'm in packaging phase. So my next product that I'm going to show would be RayPack, and I will use the similar technique as RayEval did. So not doing anything in a host, so having just one licensed product and as many hosts as I need. And instead, I will go to RayPack, which is kind of, so to say, heart of the packaging suite. And first, I'm going to log into RayFlow. So I'm not really fancy about passwords. I think it was just admin, so, well, no, not real security. And I'm now logged in. I know already that it's an MSI format, so, well, normal choice would be to simply create a transform for that, which is, well, pretty easy in that matter. That's the response transform option. And at this point, I can either work locally, but I don't want that. RayFlow knows where my MSI is, so why not to take this information from RayFlow, from the packaging, setup of a step enterprise, and the MSI. And now we are in the following view. So again, RayPack can also work locally. So I can just start tailoring. It will bring up the Windows installer window, which will then be in the capturing mode. So it will be collecting everything I type in, including serial numbers, features, destinations, and so on and so on. but with a similar button as we had in RayEval, we can also say, hey, now let's do this in guest. So let's try it out. We have, again, a similar view. So all products are sharing the same configuration. You may have it shared for a whole team that they will be using the same machines, which is also cool, specifically if it's ES6 or Hyper-V hosted remotely. And I will use the same machine that was used for evaluation to plug myself in. So again, it starts RayFlow server. Yeah, we have to, I think, wait a few seconds until it starts. So powering on. Both products can also reuse if you have a machine with a correct snapshot and that machine is already running, well, then the machine won't be started again. It will just reuse and plug in immediately. But right now I have to just, again, wait a few seconds after VMware tools are started and my automation will be also provided. So it just takes a few more seconds. And I should be ready in a matter of... Yeah, sure. No, we are actually supporting more types. So right now it's Workstation, it's ES6 side and Hyper-V. But we also have some nice plans for the future to integrate with VDI so that you can have some proper provisioning, like take a machine for testing, specific for packaging. We're actually targeting right now a Horizon for that, but also maybe Citrix and some other in future. So that's something that is dynamically changing and we have some great plans. So for today, just these three popular virtualization solutions. So I'm now connected. So let's do the same. Start tailoring. And again, it will copy the MSI to the virtual image, which doesn't have that MSI yet, and start it in the background. It's just a few megs, I think, or well, takes, I think, longer than expected. In any case, if you just have a link somewhere on the share, it may be also a good idea to just link it so without copying. But at the end, I'm here in my virtual environment, and normally this will be a good place to bring up my documentation from eval phase and go through all of these wizard windows here and just simply replicate what evaluator described. So not really that swing, with fire, what I was showing at the beginning. So let's try it out. I will just quickly go through that and say that this has been decided during evaluation that like a feature has to be disabled, one has to be advertised, whatever. So whatever I click here, it is captured and at the end will be presented to me. But obviously I'm still on my virtual environment, and that means if that MSI requires some external prerequisites like a licensed server which is only installed here or SQL server which is only installed here, then it may be always a good idea to do it on guest. Otherwise, for some simple products, you may also stick to the host. We can run it in sandbox, so it should also not make the machine dirty. Let's try it out with some name and code for the license. And if you see, if I press install, it is instant. So we're still running in the sandbox, but all the prerequisites from guests are respected. And if I press finish, RayPack has noticed that the job is done and offers me also a choice to leave the machine or power it off. So let's say we will leave the machine running because we'll be needing the machine still for quality control. And this is what RayPack has captured. So like I changed two random features from that product, Word to advertise and Excel to do not install. So they have been captured. The important part would be certainly that one. So we have a property edit license code and edit license name. And this is something that you normally have to Google around to find out which property is responsible for that particular value. With pactailor run on the guest, it was, well, just easy as that. And all of these values are there. If you don't need something like too much things were captured or you want to make more generic package, you can still uncheck the items there to just simply and not include them in the package. But at the end, it was pretty straightforward to produce our first transform. And I'm going to save this transform maybe next to the original package. So just a bit different strategy here. Not in the default folder, but somewhere over there. So that's the MST I was using, and when I press finish, the MST is going to be saved and open within Pack Designer. This brings me now to a new view. That's the package view showing complexity and some nice touches for the enterprise packaging, for big projects, for various projects would be, first of all, the complexity itself. It's just a number, 58 out of 100. So I believe that this package is somewhere in the middle in terms of complexity. But you can use that to calculate the SLA, how complex that package would be when sent out to the packaging. But what we also did for 5.0 release, if I go to the section called plugins, and to the complexity, there is a bit more information. So again, it's 58, but you can see all of these factors that contributed to that number. And you can customize them, saying, but okay, in my environment, number of custom actions doesn't matter, so let's throw it out. And then all the packages in a particular profile will be affected by that and calculate according to your new algorithm. Speaking of that, RayPack supports out-of-the-box different profiles, and you can switch them immediately, which is shown over there. I'm now logged into RayFlow as admin, and here is my default profile. Right now, there is just one, but I can easily create some more and say, okay, for customer A, the complexity has to be calculated like that. For customer B, cap files have to be extracted. For customer C, naming of features should be ABC feature 1, 2, 3. So everything that you customize in RayPack, all the settings are always profile-based, and you can quickly switch between them. So again, one instance, one license, several virtual machines, several customers, and this really saves total cost of ownership of the product. Plugins themselves, they have interesting features like you can plug in your scripts and macros. If you were ever programming in VBS, for example, integrating with MSI DLL to do some repetitive tasks in the past, you can just simply bring them without any single touch in the script, and they will be executed on your current project. So if you have something to automate, like removal of shortcuts, which you spent days, weeks to develop, it's also easy to reuse them. So reusability and automation are two key points which we are supporting by this concept. And if it doesn't work, then you can always write, if you know how to do that using programming language, you can write your own plugin. For example, this whole complexity stuff is our plugin written by Raynet, but it shows that even some more complex scenarios are possible, so you can extend the product according to your needs. So what we just did, we created a transform. We have an MSI. We did evaluation, so I think it would be now a good idea to go back to RayFlow. And we may try to add a comment saying that packaging has been finished, and accepted. So now the comment will be visible for anyone visiting the package. And I'll now try to move to the quality control. In the quality control, I will do a simple, very simple checklist, which may install the product in the virtual environment, check if it installs correctly, get some additional details, and also produce me smoke test results and fully blown quality control. So before that happens, we have to change the status to finished. So the package goes from packaging to the quality assurance. And the package is over there. Let's accept to the admin user. And let's start a tool, this time called RayQC. So RayQC is a checklist based. You just simply define one or more checklists that you want to check your package against. They may include different actions. They may include your PowerShell code to do some even more fancy actions. And the look and feel is pretty easy. So let's start RayQC on that very package. RayQC is over there. So it goes directly to the view of my checklist. I'll make this window maybe a bit smaller, if it let me. Yeah, a bit smaller, and then just simply make it bigger. So that's the path to my MSI. I will leave the MST file right now untouched. I will show you later why. And this is just a quick example of how you can automate this stuff with RayQC. There is a simple plugin which checks whether the file exists. Check. So cool, file is there. Another one will check product code, just simply read it out of the property. The other one is generating an installation command and an installation command. So far so good, not really impressive, but that just gives you an idea that you can get easily the information from MSI or from the system. Now, important part would be here. I will try to first start the whole group. And as you can see, this produced an error because free properties are not set to some value. So that would be a good way to make a smoke test, whether my branding is there, whether a package is installed for all users, whether the package is not rebooting my system, and you can build pretty much anything that is possible within the MSI syntax, just checking the value of properties, features. It's pretty straightforward over there. And this automation did it all for me. So as you can see, my checklist has now status which will be clearly failed because of these 3 points. RayPack, on the other hand, has a nice touch that you can use a predefined template to actually fix a lot of this stuff automatically. But let's first leave them the way they are and move to the next part. There is a test for installation and uninstallation. Now again, it would be not a really good decision to install anything on my host. I'm still on my host. Instead, the same technique that was present in RayPack and in RayEvent would be to start again and bring up my virtual environment. So this time it's running, as you can see here. There's a play icon, and use selected. So what will happen right now, I'll again bring this machine, we can make this smaller. So it's plugging in the checklist to the virtual machine, and from now on, anything that I execute will be actually part and will be executed on my guest. That includes the installation, that includes any kind of script that you create, that includes even checking properties like I can actually demonstrate to read out the machine name or something like that. So 3 steps to be executed. Install the product using silent command line. Let's try it out by pressing start. As you can see, in the background, Windows installer is shown. So according to our silent command line that we created, somehow I noticed that the installation of this package takes some more time than usual, but we just have to wait. So it's still running in the background. Just give it a second or 2 until Windows installer finishes, and at the end, RayQC will read the exit code and show it in my host. So it will be then part of my checklist, the automated smoke test for the execution of the MSI. I can, this is still running. Oh, now it's done. So as you can see, the exit code was 0, so installation succeeded. That's good. Smoke test, first smoke test passed. And the other plugin, Open Installation Log, when I click that, this is an example how you can also interact with your virtual environment. So this just brings the installation log. And in case of errors, you could find out some important information, which is not the case for that MSI. It just was installed successfully. If we go further, so it's 0, and yeah, installation finished without errors, it's also yes. So the installation log indicated no issues. The same can be done with uninstallation. So again, it's uninstalling the product. It returned me 0. We may also open the installation log. And all of this you can build the way you want with nesting, with custom conditions, when and what has to be checked. So let's say the log is fine. And at the end, installation is also checked and verified to be found. So the only issue that we had in this checklist were 3 missing properties, but for any packager, that would be pretty much easy to fix. And in this scenario, in RayFlow, I would just simply reject that package because it simply doesn't conform to our requirement. Let's upload the report to RayFlow, and we'll have a look what's inside that report when we check and close the checklist tool. So no, don't save it. And let's refresh the list of files. There should be 2 after my change. Right now there is just 1. Yeah, there is a second one from QA, and this looks like that. So 3 failed, 4 invalid, and if we scroll down, we can see exactly what and why failed. And this report can be now brought back to packaging, and they can fix what they did. So again, going back to the picture with fire. Now, we went through these 3 phases, so that was evaluation, packaging, and QA, showing how to use integration with virtual machines, how to upload the documentation, how to even make a comment, how to exchange between different parties involved into the packaging process. And we can now also go to the history, which would be now a bit more extended. And here you can track down anything that I did during this session. So there was the evaluation part, packaging, I added a comment, here I uploaded a file. So it's like I said, the full transparency of the process. You always see who did what, when, and you know to who you have to go if there is an issue at some stage. And it really encourages the concept of splitting the responsibility across different groups, that they really double check each other. So that's pretty much it in this live demo. So I'll be going now back to my PowerPoint, or maybe there are some questions to that part. Yeah? Well, I would say that it's up to you. We are delivering some out-of-the-box examples, but you can extend that. You can add your own tools like plugin sequencer, which will start on the VM. Not a big deal. I would say it's a matter of configuration. So all these phases, order, colors, names, tools, it's pretty much configuration only. And you can do that if I go back to my web interface. This is the place where you can define so anything you need, order, name, type, relations, transitions, and so on and so on. Just go there and edit that the way you want. What we like to do in the future, I can just give you a quick glimpse. That will be nice for bulk repackaging. Packbot is the name of that option, and it allows you to make bulk repackaging or bulk sequencing in future to convert like 300 packages into MSI, into RCP, our internal format, or even into AppV format using sequencer, which is installed on the VM. So it's just as easy as either providing information about each package separately, so which format, which command line, which installer file, what is the pool of machines to be used for the repackaging. So you may even define 100 packages, 4 machines. Let's do everything on every machine, so it will be potentially 4 times faster than normally. Or to make it even faster, you can import from a directory, like I'll take downloads, select folder, and this will just read out everything we have in downloads with potentially silent command lines that it could found. You can still edit that and import whatever you need and start bulk repackaging. So that will also obviously work on the virtual environment only. And like I said, our plan is to integrate sequencer into that. So you can say, make sequencing on the virtual machine for that and that package and just bring me back the AppV file for a cleanup or so. So that will be also a way to go with that product. And RayPack itself also have a conversion mechanism for simple MSIs. You don't actually have to sequence. You can just convert from MSI format to AppV, and most of the tools and products should be pretty much working after the conversion process. So I'm going to go back to my slides. So there's just a quick summary of what I was showing. We still have like 3 minutes, I think. So RayFlow approach with this workflow where all files, comments, and users are reporting to is our answer to the challenges which I also listed before, problems with distribution of teams, problems with missing or irrelevant documentation, and so on. That's our answer to that. But as I was also telling you, it's not that you have to have everything on your environment. You can start with some simple steps, having first maybe a packaging solution, then maybe go to workflow, or the other way around. Start with workflow and then go to the packaging solution, because it's all modular and flexible. So you can replace the components. The way I use them was just simply standard out-of-the-box config. But in most cases, it's the customer, it's you who know better how to configure that to manage our enterprise application lifecycle management steps. What I was also showing was how to document your eval part, how to make smoke tests and quality control using RayQC, and how to make the packaging using dedicated virtual environments. So right now we are supporting 3 types of virtual environments, and there are some next coming in the future. I also showed a way how to plug in your scripts, how to automate certain tasks, how to use plugins to help you out with stuff that are pretty much present in every single package. And I was showing how RayQC can be used to detect that you haven't done a step, like these 3 properties that was reported by our test checklist. Some upward topics and next steps would be integration with VDI. So we are thinking about some extended provisioning that you could take and order a machine for testing, get it from the pool or so. And right now, Horizon would be what we are working on, but some other solutions are also not excluded. And there's even more automation of packaging backwards. So like I was saying, the sequencing part was really is really cool, and we are really intending to have it as a part of our product. So these are kind of the steps for the future, the way we envision that, the way we envision the software, enterprise software packaging with Packaging Suite and its components. So that will be pretty much it, what I wanted to show. You can go to our website to get a trial version of what I was showing. I think it's valid for 21 days or 30 days, something like that. So we can grab it for free and test it out. You can contact us. I think these slides will be distributed anyway, so you can grab my email or even phone me. I work closely with customers, and they wish us trying to turn into our new solutions and to develop the products further according to the customer feedback. For the lottery, the session code was 21. We have still another session today, Dairoki migration to Windows 10 from my colleague, so I also encourage you to visit us at 3 p.m. Yeah, that will be it. Any questions? No?
Is this running locally on the system, or it's cloud-based?
The RayFlow.
Yeah.
There are different options. It may be running locally, so you may install it physically, you may install it in a virtual environment. You can have it hosted in in cloud. Several solutions are supported by us. You can have it rented, like some monthly fee from Raynet, and we'll host it on your. So actually, it's up to you. Whatever is, whichever model suits your needs. It's up to you to decide. But you may also we have a chat and our stand to discuss what would be the good solution. It's all supported at the end. So yeah, thank you.